Hello everyone, I am Left, and welcome back to another episode of Competitive Analysis. This is going to be the last one before the Vainglory Preseason Invitational on this weekend. Going to be really busy once that starts, looking to do a lot of the games from that Preseason Invitational, at least the ones that are interesting and matter. So let's get right into this video today. We're going to be looking at Team Solo Mid versus Immortals in the VIS Pro League once again. Team Solo Mid, a household name in all of esports. Their Vainglory team consists of Flash X, Best Chuck NA, and Von C. Flash on the roam, Chuck in the lane, and Von C in the jungle. Next, let's talk about Immortals. Recently acquired by Immortals was the Hammer's Velocity team. They have Veins on the roam, Zeo in the lane, and Aloha in the jungle. So, these teams are very well matched. Team Solo Mid usually gets the better of Hammer's Velocity, but it can definitely go both ways. Stars for each team: Von C in the jungle for TSM, for sure. He is notorious for contaminating the queue with people playing off-meta things that he does in tournaments and only he can make work. So, much to the chagrin of meta players like myself. And for Immortals, the star of their team is usually Zeo in the lane. He is 5 or 6 years younger than me and leagues and leagues better than I will ever be at laning. I suck at laning so bad, and he just makes it look so easy. Usually plays heroes like Vox and Ringo, likes to do Scarf sometimes, but Scarf isn't really in a very good spot in this meta, so I don't expect to see that in the preseason invitational, and we won't see Scarf today. So with that out of the way, let's get right into the draft, and I can't wait to start breaking down this game for you. Hope you learn a lot, and see you in the main video. Let's get into looking at this draft. We're going to be looking at Game 2 today, and that is because Game 1 went to TSM, and I found Game 2 a lot more interesting with the picks and different things to learn from, and just how the game went in general. So starting with Immortals, they banned Glaive and Petal, took Adagio, Lance, and Kestrel in that order. TSM banned Lyra and Ringo, took Finn, Vox, and Alpha in that order. So, starting off with Immortals, they have what is basically a one carry comp. The Adagio is definitely going to fall off late game, just like I talked about in my last video with NRG and Rogue. So they're going to be relying on the Kestrel, guessing that she's going to build weapon, and if you skip ahead in the video, you will see that yes, the Kestrel will build weapon. Lance will be on the roam, and Adagio will be in the lane. So the Adagio is going to be looking to amplify the usefulness of that Kestrel through heals and Agent of Wrath. I always get those two mixed up, but so Immortals comp is going to start out as a 2 carry comp with the Adagio's early to mid game spike, and then funnel off into a 1 carry comp with a single carry comp as the Kestrel gets Breaking Point and Tyrant's Monocles, etc. Whatever she's going to want to build there. She's going to be looking to keep kiting away from the Vox and the Alpha and deal damage to them at ranges where they cannot deal with her. So overall, strong comp from Immortals. I think the Lance is a decent choice for roam. Maybe pick something that has a little bit more reliable CC, but I guess those two have been picked and banned. Lyra will not be on the table, she can stop Alpha's dashes, and Finn was picked by TSM because Immortals wanted to prioritize the Adagio. Questionable choice, as we will see later in the game. So, let's talk about TSM. TSM's comp is very interesting, mostly because they picked that Alpha. The Finn Vox is very standard in this meta. The Finn is going to be providing area CC with the Quibble, the Polite Company, and long range CC and isolation kills with the Hook. So, next let's talk about the Vox. Actually, let's talk about the bans. I didn't talk about the bans at all. So TSM banned Lyra and Ringo. This presumably because, well, we know why they banned Ringo, because Zeo is a god on Ringo. And you don't really want to have Vox dueling Ringo, because it just comes down to individual player skill, and sometimes that can just go both ways. It'll come down to crit chance, etc. So, also, Immortals banned Glaive and Petal. They obviously don't want to be seeing that Stormcrown Aftershock Glaive. I mean, who does? And they banned the Petal because Petal is just a monster right now. She gets banned in almost every match, standard bans. So, let's talk about Von C's Alpha. like I said before, he is notorious for running off-meta things and making them look meta. So he's going to be playing the Crystal Alpha in this gameplay, and what he's essentially going to be is a backline disruptor for the Vox to gain breaking point stacks and mitigate the early game strength of Immortals to help the Vox and Finn get to the late game. So now what does all that mean? What Alpha is going to do is she's going to use her insane survivability to keep those early game fights going longer so that they aren't simply decided by huge Kestrel burst, huge Adagio burst. Now, the only form of very reliable CC that Immortals has on their team is Lance's Githian Wall and Impale, if he can hit the Impale. Impale can be pretty tricky to land sometimes. And now that Lance has been nerfed and his Githian Wall is now on a longer cooldown of about, I think, 7 seconds on overdrive, if I remember correctly, Von C is definitely going to have options to get into the backline if he chooses to overdrive Prime Directive. Spoilers, in this game he overdrives Prime Directive and Core Charge, leaving off the third point of Core Overload. So, no, not Core Overload, Termination Protocol. I mean, they sound similar, so you cut me a break, please. So essentially, what we're going to see a lot in this game is Von C getting into the back with this Prime Directive and causing havoc for the defense of Immortals, forcing that Lance out of the forward position so that he has to cover for the Adagio and Kestrel, and this lets Vox jump in without fear of being Atlas Pauldroned or impaled or just like stunned into a wall, etc. So that augmented by the defensive capabilities of the Finn, even with the hook. I like TSM's comp a lot more just based on, I don't know, game sense, strategy, etc. Buzzwords that means things in analysis. So let's get right into the video clips. Insanely long draft segment, I'm sorry, but I hope it was informative for you. First clip is a short one, and all I really want to highlight is Vayne's Lance here. When you're playing against a Finn, early game Lance is always going to be in an aggressive position, as you see right here. Vayne's is just landing basic attacks onto Finn and is going to go in for the Impale eventually. Just because of Lance's huge basic attack range, until Finn gets some more health and some more levels on his plate, Lance is always going to be able to take an aggressive position against a Finn. Next, we have a very drawn-out sort of fight where we're going to highlight Von C's alpha play here, as we're going to be for most of this game, admittedly. So Von C's going to come up through the mustache bush there, and he's going to get immediately Githian walled by Vayne's on Lance. Now, why is this important? He's not even, you might say, he's not even on one of the carries yet, and why is this a big thing? To which I would say, Vayne's just wasted his Githian wall. His Githian wall is not guaranteeing any damage or other CC onto Von C right now. And this is bad, because it's going to allow Von C to get into the back with Prime Directive and harass and destroy the Kestrel and Adagio in this fight. You're going to see him land Prime Directive onto 2, and he's going to be using those Aftershock procs to do a lot of damage to, that's Aloha, yeah. He's going to be doing a lot of damage to Aloha with those Aftershock procs, taking him and Vayne's down to critical health, and he's just generally being a nuisance. Now, if Vayne's had not used his Githian wall at such a useless time there, he could have forced Von C off before he had done all that damage to Aloha. And what we're going to see here is basically just Von C doing his job. He just forced out the enemy fountain. So this is huge, and Von C, he looks like he's on low health, but remember, he has 3 lives. He's alpha. This means nothing. He's going to trigger the Prime Directive, gets one-shot one killed by Aloha. If Aloha had a little bit more weapon power, this would have stalled out the one-shot one kill in its tracks, but instead it took him down to 1 health, which means that he is definitely going to land that one-shot one kill onto both Vayne's and Zio. So, bit of a lucky break for Von C. They probably would have been able to escape had he not been hit by one-shot one kill. Unlucky for Aloha, but Zio is just going to get melted there, and Von C is under the turret, and he is going to go down, but not before they can take out Zio and cripple Vayne's, and take an aggressive position on this turret with a late game comp that is not supposed to be this strong yet. So that just goes to show the aggressive alpha play from Von C is mitigating the late gameness of the Vox and the Finn. Alright, let's get into the next clip now. Next fight is another instance of Von C putting on an alpha clinic for the VIS viewers. So what we are going to see here, he just does a little bit of poke to Zio. Hook gets blocked, of course. It's TSM versus Hammers. It's always going to get blocked. And let's pause it right there as Vanes uses his Githian wall once again. So this is actually going to guarantee some damage on Von C, but it's not going to be enough. If they are really going to go after these Githian walls and get value out of them, they're just going to have to pour every single bit of damage they have into Von C while he's stunned. So now that Von C has not lost very much health from that Githian wall stun, has his Prime Directive up, and is on pretty good health, he's just going to keep going and activate his Termination Protocol, Prime Directive onto Aloha, and get the execution on him there with the big explosion that goes straight through the fountain. The Verse of Judgment comes out. Now Von C is stuck under the turret and he is shield bashed by Vanes into the turret. Now you're probably saying, Von C is so screwed. That was a great Githian wall from Vanes. And yeah, it was a great Githian wall from Vanes. But Von C's not done yet. He has such good game sense that he can calculate how quickly is he going to die to this turret, how much time does he have, should he be escaping or should he be going for more. He knows he's going to die here, so what he's actually going to do is he's going to jump over the turret and absolutely cripple Zio, allowing for him to be taken out by Best Chuck NA. The fountain comes out, Von C's going to go out under the turret, but they are able to get the kill on Zio via Best Chuck NA's Sonic Zoom. So the fact that Von C knew to keep going, and he knew he had at least a couple more attacks before the turret took him out, was just such good game sense from him, and that's why TSM won this fight, again, with a late game comp that shouldn't be this good this fast. The next fight is a bit of a blunder by TSM. This is what happens when they initiate incorrectly. And that is with Best Chuck NA right in the front of the Vox. He's going to get shield bashed, smashed into the wall, rooted by the Impale, and basically just gets chunked out for little to no follow-up. The hook gets blocked from Flash X, no surprise there, and TSM is just going to have to back off. So TLDR, don't initiate with the Vox when you have a Crystal Alpha on your team, who is as good as Von C. This next fight is going to start with Von C going onto the backline once again, lands Prime Directive on 3, and gets rooted by Vanes. That was a great root. It was a clutch root. It's going to save Aloha from dying in this fight. But the thing is, it allows Best Chuck NA, since Vanes just had to turn around to deal with the jungle threat from TSM, that leaves Best Chuck NA to deal a ton of damage on the other side, building his breaking point stacks. So this fight isn't really going to amount to much in the end. Vanes speeds out of there with the boots, and we're actually going to see Von C going down to Immortals jungle to farm. Now Aloha gets healed up by Zio, and Von C is really not making a great decision here. He should have accounted for the healing that Adagio could put out. He's going to steal this camp, but he's going to die. So even though you do have 3 lives as Alpha, that was a good example of a Githian wall. Pushes him away while he's using Termination Protocol, ensuring no cheesy kill is going to go on to Aloha. Basically, Von C just got a little bit overconfident here. Happens to everybody, especially the pros, so bit of a blunder by TSM. Flash X is also going to go down for this since he tried to save Von C here. Not going to save him when he's being focused down in reboot mode, and Best Chuck NA is going to speed on out of there, but it was a loss for TSM. In the next fight, we're going to be highlighting another play by Von C on Alpha, as well as a little bit of a mistake by Flash X. So Von C is going to be coming up through the bottom brush there, and Vanes is going to root him and Githian wall him again into the wall. Now, once again, this is a pretty big waste, because you can see up there the 2 damage heroes of Immortals are not focusing their attention on Von C. So basically what's happening here is that Immortals cannot kill Best Chuck NA without going through Von C and Flash X first. And this is bad. Flash X is always positioning himself between Immortals and Best Chuck NA, and they always have to go through Von C first because he's always harassing them. So Von C is going to land his Prime Directive here onto 2 and completely mitigate the stun from the Kestrel Trap. Going to be going on to Adagio here. He gets low, But Flash makes the mistake of using Fountain on the Prime Directiving or Termination Protocoling Alpha. Now Von C misses his Prime Directive, but is able to land a perfectly timed core charge to hit with the explosion the 2 carries of Immortals. And so now Adagio is the only, or Kestrel is the only one left, Aloha, and you can see as I drew on the screen right here, Von C has come out of reboot, he has his Prime Directive, and Aloha is very, very low and standing right next to a turret. As it says on the text on the screen, do not do that. Von C is about to do the classic weeaboo, teleports behind you, nothing personnel, kid, with his Prime Directive. So, really, it's just a really, I don't know, it was a lack of game sense there from Aloha. He's gonna go down, miss the one-shot, one kill. Von C is pinned into the turret, but he can just easily travel to the safe zone there, and it's another one fight for TSM, regardless of the Fountain fail. Next, Immortals is going to be taking the gold mine with TSM rotating down from the opposite side. Flash misses the flashy hook, no pun intended, and lands the Atlas Pauldron onto 2. Now, this is where the fight starts to develop. As I have drawn on the screen here, the 2 damage heroes of TSM are on the top of the Kraken Pit, and Vanes is on the bottom of the Kraken Pit, and he is contributing nothing to his team right now other than like 2-digit damage numbers to the Finn, which means absolutely nothing. This is allowing Best Chuck NA and Von C on Alpha free damage on the Adagio and the Kestrel for Immortals. Like it says on the screen, dude, literally, where are you right now? Vanes is providing nothing to his team right now. He is not going to get a clutch Guthian wall or impale here, especially not from this angle, and it's going to result in the quick death of Zio. Now, Aloha is going to get the kill on Best Chuck NA through focusing down through the fountain, but he is no match for Von C, who still has his termination protocol. Alpha has 3 lives. You need to either focus her down early or distract enough that you can isolate her later. So he's going to take the double kill, and TSM is going to take this Kraken. The final fight of this game is TSM on the attack with the Kraken. They're easily going to take care of this first turret just by Von C and Flash X just doing the fear factor with them not using the hook. When is he going to use the hook? Spoilers, he's going to use the hook in just a little bit here. So he is about to land the hook onto Aloha, but you can see right there that it is not going to be reflex blocked. And Aloha is in trouble here. He's going to have to block the follow-up on the hook and active camo out of there, but what's going to happen next is going to be huge from TSM. And now I have drawn on the screen here some awful finger drawings, but I'm hoping that it's a lot like the I don't know, the teleprompter thing that they use in football and basketball and other sports. So gonna see the 2 damage heroes of TSM are following up onto that displacement of the Kestrel. Von C and Best Chuck NA are both going to run in, Von C with the core charge and Prime Directive, and Best Chuck with boots. Now, the Kestrel is not going to survive this, but put the purple question mark on the top there. Where is Zio right now? He is in no man's land when it comes to saving Aloha's life. He needs to be there with the heal, and if TSM had chosen to initiate onto him, the position he's in is even worse than Aloha's, and he has no movement abilities. So overall, poor positioning from Immortals there, and this is going to result in a TSM win. So yeah, this is basically it. TSM is going to take all of the turrets and the crystal here, going to take out Vanes with the termination protocol, and that's really going to be it for the game. TSM won this series 2-0, and mostly due to Von C's incredible play in the jungle, supplemented by Flash X's great at roaming and Best Chuck NA's steady and consistent laning. Best Chuck NA is often overlooked due to the star power of Von C, but he is one of the most consistent and mechanically gifted laners in all of NA. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot. I hope I taught you a lot. I hope the video was good quality. Was it? Was it not? Leave a comment down below and consider subscribing. See you all later.